Today we are talking about Chapter 1, Lesson 7, which can be found on pages 49 through 54 in your textbook or online. Your I can statement for today is I can compare and order decimal numbers. Your vocabulary is equivalent decimals. The first question, what are two different methods you can use to compare and order numbers? Question 2, explain how to compare the decimals 5 and 689 thousandths and 5 and 688 thousandths. This clip will give you some ideas of how to compare decimals, so let's take a look.
Okay, I'm going to show you the first method, and I find this the easiest method for comparing decimals. To determine which two decimals is greater, you can compare the digits in each place value position, or you can use a number line. So first we're going to line up the decimal points. So which is greater, 7 4/10 or 7 63 hundredths? Line up the decimals, line up the digits. So starting at the left, compare the digits in each place value position. So you have 7 and 7, decimal point, 4 and 6. Now remember, there's an imaginary 0 at the end of 4. So you can also think of it as 7 and 40 hundredths and 7 and 63 hundredths, and 40 is less than 63, or 4 is less than 6. Another method you can use is a number line. So you can graph each decimal on a number line and you can compare it. So there's 7 and 4/10 there, and there's 7 and 63 hundredths there. And you can see that 7 and 63 hundredths is greater. Okay, so we know how to compare the decimals. Let's talk about how we order them. Easiest thing from ordering them from least to greatest or greatest to least is to line up the decimal points. Okay, so there you go, lining up all three numbers. You will notice in step 2, you will notice that the top two numbers are missing a 0. Remember, when you add a 0 to the end, it does not change the value. So, adding a 0, now you can compare them. 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, decimal point, 1, 0, 1. Well, now you can find your least is 12 and 8 hundredths. Then you can go to the next place value, 5 and 0. And 0 is less than 5. So 12 and 103 thousandths is the next one. And the greatest one is 12 and 15 hundredths. Now you're telling me, or you're thinking, 103, 12 and 103 thousandths should be the largest. It has the most numbers. Another way to look at this is, if you ignore the 12 and the decimal point and you add on those zeros, it looks like 150, looks like 80, and it's 103. So the greatest one is 150, then it goes 103, and the least one is 80. So that's another way. Okay, so let's practice.
Okay, so if you look at your textbook on page 49, it kind of shows those methods that they were talking about in the clip. So this first way, you can use a number line to compare the decimals, or you can line them up. Then if you look at page 53 under your homework helper, it kind of shows that ordering process that she was talking about. So again, you're going to want to line up those decimals and then annex zeros when necessary. So what annex means is to put on those zeros. So remember, that doesn't change the value of the number. It's the same because it's an equivalent fraction, really. 6/10 is equivalent to 600 thousandths. So we just put on those zeros so that they line up nice and easy, and then you just compare the place values. So it kind of breaks it down for you. Compare the digits in the greatest place. Then the tens and ones are the same in this case. So then you're going to compare until they're different. So we'll go to the tens place. Okay, they're different here. So then you have to look at and see that this 6 is larger than the 2. So 59 and 6/10 or 600 thousandths is the greater decimal. So let's look back at our two questions. I think question 1 was very clear in the clip, And question 2 you should be able to do.